Genesis, the great flood, the mystery of Noah, the angels, and the giants. An epic story of judgment, mercy, and renewal. In the generations after Cain and Abel, the earth multiplied, but so did sin. From the line of Adam came men who built cities, shaped tools, forged weapons, and dreamed of immortality. The world began to hum with human ambition. Yet, among the noise, one man would walk so closely with God that his very footsteps would vanish from the world. His name was Enoch, the man who walked with God. Enoch lived 65 years and begat a son named Methuselah. And after his son's birth, Enoch's heart changed forever. The scripture says, Enoch walked with God after he begat Methuselah 300 years. He did not merely believe, he communed, he listened, he walked beside the Eternal in ways lost to mankind since Eden. And then one day, he was gone. Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. But where did he go? Did Enoch die? The text never says. Did God lift him to another realm? Did he ascend, transformed into light as a bridge between the human and divine? Some say Enoch was taken into the heavens, made immortal, entrusted with secrets too great for mortals. Others believe his body and spirit became one with the living Word, the first man to transcend death itself. Whatever the truth, Enoch left behind a mystery. That man could walk so closely with God that death itself would lose its claim. The generations of the earth. Methuselah lived long, longer than any man before or after. 969 years he walked the earth. He fathered Lamech, and Lamech begat Noah, saying, This one shall comfort us from the toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord has cursed. Generations had passed since Adam, and the curse of the soil still weighed heavy upon mankind. The sons of men labored endlessly, while their hearts grew restless. They built kingdoms, but not in honor of God. They worshipped stars, idols, and their own inventions. The world was becoming powerful, but hollow. Civilization advanced, and righteousness declined. Pause for a moment. If you are finding value and enjoying the story, please subscribe, share, and like. The subscription is absolutely free. When you subscribe, share, and like, it helps promote the channel. Now back to the story. The sons of God and the daughters of men. And it came to pass that as men multiplied upon the earth, daughters were born unto them, fair and radiant. The sons of God saw that they were beautiful, and they took wives of all whom they chose. But who were these sons of God? The scriptures leave it veiled in mystery. Were they angels, descending from the heavens to mingle with humankind? Were they extraterrestrial beings, visitors from other realms, whose union with human women birthed hybrids of immense strength and stature? Or were they an ancient order of divine men, the first kings who corrupted their sacred calling by taking what was forbidden? Their children were giants, Nephilim, mighty men of old, men of renown. The earth shook under their power. They built temples, empires, and weapons, but their greatness became violence. Their knowledge became corruption. Their hearts became gods unto themselves. The grief of God. And God looked upon the earth and saw that the wickedness of man was great, and that every imagination of his heart was only evil continually. The Creator, whose breath had given man life, was now grieved by that same creation. "My spirit shall not strive with man forever," he said, "for he is flesh. His days shall be 120 years. Man's lifespan was shortened, not as punishment alone, but as mercy. For the longer evil lives, the deeper it roots. The shorter the years, the sooner the soul faces the truth. Yet the earth grew worse. Violence filled the land. The blood of the innocent cried out. The beasts turned wild, the air heavy with corruption. Even nature seemed infected by mankind's fall. And the Lord, heartbroken, spoke again. "I will destroy man, whom I have created, from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping thing and fowl of the air. For it repents me that I have made them." Pause and think of that moment. How dark must the world have become for the Creator of all life to mourn the very act of creation. The man who found grace. But not all was lost. Amid the darkness, one man's light still shone. His name was Noah, a man righteous and just in his generation, who walked with God just as Enoch once did. When the world turned its face from heaven, Noah still listened. When violence was praised, he chose peace. When others mocked, he built. And the Lord said to Noah, "The end of all flesh has come before me. The earth is filled with violence through them. Behold, I will destroy them with the earth, but with you I will establish my covenant." The Ark of Salvation. God gave Noah a divine blueprint. Make an ark of gopher wood. Pitch it within and without, 3 stories high, with rooms for every creature, great and small. The ark was not just a ship, it was a symbol, a bridge between old and new worlds, a sanctuary built by faith in the midst of unbelief. As Noah gathered wood, the people laughed. As he preached righteousness, they scorned. For 120 years, he built under open skies, hammering hope into wood while the clouds gathered judgment above. And when the final day came, the ark stood ready. The animals arrived, 2 by 2, 7 by 7, guided not by man, but by divine instinct. And when Noah, his wife, his sons, and their wives entered, the Lord himself shut the door. The floodgates of heaven. Then the heavens broke open. The fountains of the deep erupted from beneath the earth. Rain fell in torrents, not drops, but rivers from the sky. For 40 days and 40 nights, the storm raged. Waters rose higher than mountains, swallowing cities, temples, and towers. The cries of mankind were drowned by thunder, and the ark lifted above it all, a vessel of faith afloat upon judgment. Every living thing upon the land perished, man, beast, bird, and creeping thing. The breath of life had been taken from the earth, but within the ark there was light, a flickering flame of mercy. The waiting. For 150 days, the waters ruled the world. But then, God remembered Noah. A wind passed over the earth, and the waters began to recede. The fountains of the deep closed, and the rain from heaven was restrained. Slowly, the peaks of the mountains began to emerge, lonely islands of hope rising from the sea of judgment. Then one morning, the ark came to rest upon the mountains of Ararat. Days turned into weeks. Noah opened the window and sent forth a raven, which went to and fro, but never returned. Then he sent forth a dove, but it found no resting place, and came back to him. 7 days later, he sent it again, and it returned with an olive leaf in its beak, the symbol of peace, the sign of renewal. The world was breathing again. And on the seventh day, when Noah sent the dove once more, it did not return. The flood was over. The old world had died, and a new one was born. The altar and the promise. When the ground was dry, God spoke, "Go forth from the ark, you and your wife, your sons and their wives. Bring forth every living thing that is with you, that they may be fruitful and multiply upon the earth." And Noah stepped onto the fresh earth, the air still carrying the scent of rain and rebirth. He built an altar and offered a sacrifice from every clean animal and bird. The smoke rose heavenward, a sweet savor before the Lord. And the Lord said in his heart, "I will not again curse the ground for man's sake, for the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again destroy every living thing as I have done." The flood was judgment, but also mercy. Destruction, yet also cleansing. Because even in wrath, God remembered grace. The covenant of the bow. Then God blessed Noah and his sons and said, "Be fruitful and multiply. The fear of you shall be upon every beast and bird and fish. Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. But you shall not eat the blood, for in the blood is life." And God established a new covenant with Noah, not sealed by words alone, but by a sign written across the heavens. "I set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. When the bow appears, I will remember my promise. Never again shall waters destroy all flesh." And for the first time in human history, a rainbow arched across the sky, light and water united, heaven and earth intertwined. The bow was not just for God to remember, it was for man to see, a reminder that after every storm, mercy still shines. The vineyard and the question. Years later, Noah planted a vineyard. The man who had endured judgment now enjoyed the fruit of the earth. But even in new beginnings, old weaknesses lingered. He drank of the wine, became drunk, and lay uncovered in his tent. His son Ham saw his father's nakedness and told his brothers. Shem and Japheth, with reverence, covered their father without looking upon him. When Noah awoke, he knew what had been done. In anger, he cursed Canaan, the son of Ham. "Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be to his brethren." Pause here and ponder this. God had already blessed Noah and his sons after the flood. So how could Noah curse what God had blessed? Can man undo what God has spoken? If God blesses you, can any voice, even that of man, take it away? The story does not answer directly, but perhaps it invites a reflection. Blessing and curse may both dwell in the same life, yet only one takes root, depending on which we nurture. Reflections of the flood. The story of Noah is not just about water and wood. It's about cleansing, inner and outer. The flood outside reflects the flood within, the moments when our old self must drown so something pure can rise. The ark represents faith, the courage to build what the world mocks, to prepare for what has not yet come. The dove represents peace, the soul returning to the Creator when the storms have passed. And the rainbow represents grace, the bridge between judgment and love. To be continued. Humanity had begun again. The covenant had been set, but as the generations of Noah spread across the earth, so too would pride, confusion, and the rise of new empires. The flood had cleansed the world, but could it cleanse the human heart? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more upcoming Bible stories.